It's not going to work, is it?
Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Hello, guys.
Okay. No, that's working. No. Great. Okay. We are reading The Witcher.
Hello, guys.
Is baptism of fire. Okay. Where are we looking? Hang on. No. Okay. No, what's happened? Hey. No, I'm gonna have to start all this all over again. Okay. Testing.
Hello, guys. My name is Pittman.
We're at page 114.
That's so much.
I noticed very well. I kept quiet and listened to what the experienced forest trackers come up with. Zoltan Shivery cuffed the cursing parrot around the head, twisted the tuft of his beard and around a finger, and tugged it in anger. Percival, we know the rough direction, the gnome said, squinting up at the sun, which was suspended above the treetops. So the first conception is this: blow the stream, turn back, leave the ravens for dry land, and go through the fern Khan, between the rivers, all the way to Kola. And the second conception, the O's shallow, even though it's carrying more water than usual. After the recent rains, it can be forded. We'll cut off the meters by wading through the stream each time it blocks our way. Beholding, of course, according to the sun, we'll come right at the fork of the Kola and the Ina. No, the witch is suddenly broken. I lost my spot now. No, the witch is suddenly broken. I suggest we drop the second idea right away. Let's not even think about it. On the far bank, we'll end up in one of those mealybug moors sooner or later. It's the bank we'll end up in. One of the mealybug moors sooner or later. It's the vile place, and I strongly advise we'll keep well away from it. Do you know these parts then? Ever been there ever before? Do you know how we can get out of there? Yeah. The Witcher remained silent for a while. I've only ever been there once, he said, wiping his forehead. 3 years ago, but I remembered from the other side I was heading for Brugg and wanted to take a shortcut. How I got out, I don't remember. I was carried out on a wagon half dead. The dwarf looked at him for a while, but asked no more questions. They returned in silence. The women from Arsenic Kernow had difficulty walking. They were stumbling and using sticks for support, but none of them uttered a word of complaint. Milva rode alongside the Witcher, holding up a girl with the plaits, who was asleep on the saddle in front of her. Don't do that, please. She suddenly began. That you got curved up in all the wilderness 3 years ago by some monster. I understand. You have a dangerous job, Geralt. I don't deny it. I remember what happened then, Dandelion boasted from behind. You were wounded. Some merchants got you out, and then you found Ciri in Riverdale. Yennefer told me about it. At the sound of that name, Milva smiled faintly. It did not escape Geralt's notice. He decided to give Dandelion a good dressing down at the next camp for his untrammeled chatter. Knowing the poet, he couldn't count on any results, particularly since Dandelion had probably already babbled everything he knew. Perhaps it wasn't such a good idea, said the archer after a while, that we didn't cross to the far bank, towards the wilderness. If you found the girl then, the elves say that sometimes lightning can strike twice. They call it bugger. I've forgotten the noise of fate. The noose of fate, sorry. The loop, he corrected her. The loop of fate. Ah, Dandelion grimaced. Can't you stop talking about nooses and loops? A she-elf once divined that I would say farewell to this vial of tears on scaffold with the help of Deathmans. Admittedly, I don't believe in that type of tawdry fortune telling.
Hello, guys.
But a few days ago, I dreamed I was being hanged. I woke in a muck, sweat, unable to swallow or catch my breath. So I listened with reluctance to discussions about giblets. I am not talking to you. I am talking to the Witcher, Milva riposted. So don't flap your ears and nothing horrible will fall into them. Well then, Geralt, what have you got to say about the loop of fate? If we go to the wilderness, perhaps time will repeat itself. That's why it's good I've turned back, he replied briskly. I don't have the slightest desire to remain a nightmare. Okay, 116. There's no two ways about it, Zoltan nodded. Looking around, I've led us to pretty charming places, Percival. Fen Khan, the gnome muttered, scratching the tip of his long nose. Meadow of the Burrows. I've always wondered how it got its name. Now you know. The broad valley in front of them was already shrouded in evening mist from which, as far as I could see, protruding thousands of burial mounds and moss-covered monoliths. Some of the boulders were ordinary, shapeless lumps of stone, others smoothly hewn and been sculpted into obelisks and menhirs. Still others, standing closer to the center of the stone forest, were formed into dolmens, khans, and comlets in a way that ruled out any natural processes. Indeed, the dwarf repeated, a charming place to spend the night. An elven cemetery, if my memory doesn't fail me, which some time ago mentioned ghouls. Well, you thought you ought to know I can sense them among these kurgans. I bet there's everything here: ghouls, gravers, spectres, wights, elven spirits, wraiths, apparitions, and works. They're hunkered down there. Do you know what they're whispering? We won't have to go looking for supper because it's come right to us. Perhaps we ought to go back, Dandelion suggested in a whisper. Perhaps we should get out of here while there's still some light. That's what I think too. The women folk can't go any further, Milva said angrily. The kids are ready to drop. The horses have stopped. You were the ones driving us on, Zoltan. Keep us going. Just another half a mile. You kept repeating. Just another furlong, you said. And now what? 2 more furlongs back the way we came. Crap. Cemetery, what? 2 more furlongs back the way we came. Crap. Cemetery or no cemetery. We're stopping for the night. And the first place we find. That's right, the Witcher said in support, dismounting. Don't panic. Not every Neapolis is crawling with monsters and apparitions. I've never been to Fern Khan before, but if it were really dangerous, I'd have heard about it. No one, not even Field Marshal Windbag, commanded. The women from Kernel retrieved their children and sat down in a tight group. Silent and visible, frightened, Percival and Dandelion tethered the horses and let them graze on the lush grass. Gerald, Zoltan, and Milva approached the edge of the meadow to look to the burial ground drowning in the frog, and gathering gloom. To cap it all, the moon's completely full, the dwarf muttered. Oh dear, there'll be a ghastly feast tonight. I can feel it. Oh, the demons will make our lives miserable. But what's the glow to the south? A fire? What else? Of course it is, the Witcher confirmed. Someone's torched someone else's roof over their heads again. No, what, Zoltan? I think I feel safer here in Fern Khan. I feel like that too, but only when the sun comes up, as long as the ghouls let us see out the night. Milva rummaged in her saddlebag. and took out something shiny. A silver arrowhead, she said, kept for such an occasion. It cost me 5 crowns at the market. That ought to kill a ghoul, right, Witcher? I don't think there is any ghouls here. You said yourself, Zoltan snapped. That ghoul had been chewing your corpse on the oak tree, and there will be a cemetery. There are ghouls. Not always. I'll take your word for it. You're a witcher, specialist, so you'll defend us, I hope. You chop up the Maraduls pretty smartly. It is harder fighting ghouls than Maraduls. Maraduls? I'm not sure. It is okay. Incomparably, I said, stop panicking. And will it be any good for a vampire? Milva asked, screwing the silver arrowhead into the shaft and checking it for sharpness with her thumb. Or a spectre? It may be an ancient dwarven incantation in ancient dwarven ruins engraved in my shield, Zoltan growled, drawing his sword. If just one ghoul approaches at a blade's length, it won't forget me. Right here, look. Ah, Dandelion, who had just joined them, said with interest. So there are some famous secret ruins in the dwarves, and the engravings say